Hey, it's Soul with another video, and I'm going to talk for a few minutes about a little hotfix that may or may not be of a small concern. And I'm going to do that while you stare at me and a goblin and Jaina over there. No big deal. Oh, and that's fake, by the way. I'm reading this off, but the hotfix says that the Mythic Keystone dungeon leaderboards now support up to the top 500 rankings, which were previously 100. So I'm going to do my usual thing, and this might be a big deal. This ranking might not have a lot of bearing for a lot of us, but it has a big thing to do with a certain add-on called Raider.io. Raider.io is also a website, and its primary objective is to kind of assign a score according to, just how well we did in Mythic Dungeons. When you complete a Mythic Dungeon, depending on the difficulty and the time that it took you to do it, you're assigned a score by this website. If you go to the website, punch in your name, you can actually take a look. If you happen to have any of your rankings up on there, you'll be able to see your score and determine whether or not you're good at the game. Okay, not really. But the reason why I think this is a worthwhile thing to at least talk about and open up a discussion about, it's because the whole Raider.io add-on, it already started bringing in a certain score. If you folks haven't noticed, if you might have been having trouble trying to get into a Mythic Plus dungeon, or if you were trying to join a group, they're asking for a certain score. This is what the score is talking about, and for the most part, as long as you're just playing the game and doing your best, you'll be able to eventually get a reasonable score, and maybe you'll get into groups and so on and so forth. Here's the kind of, maybe it's a problem, maybe it's not, but I just wanted to present this to you folks at home and on the toilet, and I just wanted to get your thoughts. Having something like Raider.io is a great way to help establish a ranking for yourself. It helps to know where you stand among those around your realm as well as around the world. The concern that I have, and I was in a discussion with a couple of folks in the stream earlier this morning, is that when it comes to this score, similar to item level, there are a lot of people, the folks that make groups that really rely on a score like this in order to get the right people for their group so they can have more successful runs. Nobody likes to lose, but it also creates this kind of cyclical behavior that makes it a little bit hard for a new player or an inexperienced player or just a less skilled player to get into these groups. The increase in rank from the top 100 to the top 500 is for the most part a good thing. This makes it so that overall more runs are going to be visible. On a low population server under Blizzard's rankings, it would be very easy for you to show up on that list because you're a small realm. There's just not a lot of groups to go around. On a much higher pop realm though, it's a lot harder to show up. There's just a lot more folks that are competing for a spot. And on those realms, if you're not competitive enough, if you're not running like 15s to 20s or something like that, you might not show up on the ranking at all for that week. Your score might go down, or it's going to be finagled in weird ways, and it might be a little bit harder to get into groups. So overall, this hotfix that Blizzard put in is a good thing for pretty much everybody. But I'm circling back here, and I'm just questioning whether or not this is a concern because it builds a culture of doing everything you can to get that top score. Thankfully, as it was pointed out to me, it's not as easy to mess with the score as it is, let's say, item level. But the way that I see it, it's perceived kind of in a similar way. The higher number that you have, the more likely it is that you get into groups. I admit myself that the very few times that I bother trying to lead a pug, and I'm trying to use like the group finder and I'm looking at people that are signing up, I tend to gravitate towards the person with the higher item level. Maybe I'm bumming myself out, but I'm seeing this kind of add-on as a sort of anti-community tool. On the one hand, it's kind of cool that you can compare scores with your counterparts, fellow guildmates, rivals, and such. On the other hand, though, from a group building standpoint, it's just one more thing that speaks for you. It's one of those don't judge a book by its cover sorts of situations. It furthers that scenario where if you want to get in a decent group, then you got to get a good score. If you want to get a good score, then you got to get into a group, and the cycle goes on. So for some people, this score isn't a big deal. For others, it might be. This hotfix will open things up for players of more varying skills and not just the top 100 runs. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether or not this whole scoring system is okay with you, if you give a shit or not. Share it in a comment below or a tweet or whatever you want. Anyway, that's me sharing my thoughts, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and stay breezy.